Hello and welcome to Gladys Cake Kitchen. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful 80th themed birthday cake complete with floral decorations, a fondant teacup and saucer for a birthday girl who loves some high tea. Packed with simple tips to help you decorate this cake confidently, you'll learn how to prep, stencil and decorate this cake with ganache, and included in this tutorial is a real-life scenario of an issue that may arise during your everyday cake decorating process and how to fix it. This simple design can be adapted for a variety of themed celebrations and is favorably beginner friendly. So without having to waste your time, let's get decorated. First, I have 4 layers of cake placed individually and sprinkled with simple sugar syrup to keep them moist before filling. Next, a dollop of ganache is applied to a cake board over which a 7-inch cake card is placed. This is then left to set in a freezer for 10 minutes before use. The cake board is returned to serve as a surface on which the cake will be decorated. Ganache is spread on the cake card, which serves as a barrier between the board and the cake, aiding easy transfer whilst preventing direct contact underneath the cake during transfer. With the foundation laid, the cake is ready to be filled, starting with a layer of cake placed on the cake card. This is then filled with buttercream, which is spread evenly on the cake surface. I am using Swiss meringue buttercream, which is my preferred buttercream on this occasion, and there is a detailed tutorial below on how to make this simple Swiss meringue buttercream with foolproof tips to help you get it right first time. Buttercream done. Jam is added as a soft filling, but wait, can you guess what's wrong here? Leave your observation in the comments section. Jam sorted. Layering is repeated with the next layer of cake placed on top with some buttercream. A dam is created in the middle by pushing the buttercream towards the edge of the cake, thereby creating a barrier to prevent the jam from leaking when filled in the middle. The process of filling and layering is repeated with a 3rd layer of cake now added and any excess buttercream scraped off the sides. At each stage, the layers are observed for alignment before another is added. Filling and layering complete, the cakes are stacked ready and layers shifted slightly in place if needed. A right-angled ruler is used to check for complete alignment by moving the ruler smoothly around the cake, maintaining the same angle from start to finish. Our cake is set firm and ready to be trimmed. Under the turntable is a baking tray to collect any scrap cake. Trimming is my preferred option for a clean slice when a cake is cut into. It also rids of the crust formed from caramelization during baking and evens out the cake surface. For best result, ensure the cake is set firm and steady by leaving it in the fridge or freezer for up to 30 minutes and use a sharp knife with a blade dipped in hot water. This helps with a clean cut without the layers shifting or sliding. Trimming has many merits, but not all cake require trimming. For more on why you should trim or not trim your cakes, I have a detailed video on trimming and crumb coating linked below for your convenience, so do check that out. With trimming nearly done, did you notice what I did wrong while filling the first layer of cake? The jam is leaking, and this is because the jam was filled into the first layer of cake without a barrier to keep it in place, hence the leak. But fear not, this will be fixed in the process. But first, let's crumb coat. A layer of ganache is applied on top and around the cake using an offset spatula. To fix the leak, the spot is cut out during trimming to make a hole, which is then filled with ganache and any excess scraped off using a scraping tool. I have a bench scraper and a stainless steel PME 9-inch scraper to do the job. The cake is left to chill for 15 minutes before the next layer of ganache is applied. When the cake returns, the excess ganache gathered on the top lip is scraped off and the second layer of ganache applied to cover the entire cake. Any excess is again removed to reveal a clean, polished, straight standing cake. A 3rd and final layer of ganache is later applied after the cake is chilled again. For this, the brief was a light colored pink with touches of white. To achieve this, a drop of color meal hot pink and white food coloring was added to some ganache for a pale and light pink color. This was spread evenly around the cake and polished off using a scraper. The board surface and the top of the cake were cleaned lightly, and that's our cake partly complete and ready to be stenciled. Before stenciling, the cake is to be chilled so the surface is firm to touch. A stencil is secured around the cake and some ganache spread over the stencil. Any excess is scraped off in an even motion to imprint the pattern. The stencil is then removed to reveal the effect. For this, I made white colored ganache by adding drops of Caramel white food coloring and Sugar Flare super white to some white chocolate ganache, which was then whipped up and used for the stencil effect. Stenciling done, bits of white ganache is spread sparingly around the top edges of the cake, aiming for an unpolished look. Notice the top lift is also left untrimmed. This adds to the unpolished look I am aiming for. The cake is now done and ready for floral additions, but first the cake is transferred onto a fondant covered board which serves as a surface on which the cake is finally presented. To transfer the cake safely, a knife with a hot blade is slid under the cake between the card and the board. This releases the cake from the ganache initially used to hold the card onto the board. With some ganache spread on the fondant board as glue, the cake is then transferred onto the fondant covered board. Our cake is now set for final presentation with a buttercream border piped at the base and dotted around the cake. When piping is complete, the cake is set ready for final decoration, starting with some flowers made up of a selection of artificial roses and green foliage. The leaves are inserted into the fondant ball, which serves as a barrier limiting direct contact into the cake. The fondant cup, which is currently incomplete, is set in place to help determine space for its final placement. The roses are held up on barbecue skewers, making them safe for inserting into the cake. The flowers are arranged on the side, leaving room for a fondant teacup and saucer. A fondant plaque with personalized stamped detail is added, and the fondant teacup and saucer finally in place to finish this beautiful cake off. The cake is sitting pretty and is about to be boxed up for this milestone birthday celebration. You can learn more about this cake by checking this video right here for a detailed tutorial on how this fondant teacup and saucer was made, along with some more helpful details for you. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.